Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Master David Bell, and I'd like to welcome you to David Bell's Tong Show. Tonight, I'm, as always, very excited. Um, I think I might have a pretty interesting 30 minutes for you. What I want to do tonight is just kind of welcome you into my little zone of relaxation and training. And this is when usually occur when I'm alone. And I'm going to do a mixture tonight of a Chinese healing art, Qigong, and the Indian traditional art of yoga. So this is just, I'm going to try to start very simple. I'm going to try to do a little explanation of some of the things that I'm going to be doing. So just relax and stay with me a little bit. First, I start my training and trying to relax my mind and capture my spirit and trying to bring the mind, body, and spirit all together into a very relaxed state. So I'm going to do a combination here of Qigong, which when we talk Qigong, I'm just speaking of internal energy. I'm trying to activate my energy, my life source. And in doing that, I really have to engage the mind. And I do it by thinking maybe negative, positive, and where energy will actually enter my body is through my what we call Lao Gong. That's the palm, right in the palm of the hands. So from here, I'll use a series of breathing. First, corrective breathing. Out through the mouth. And when I say, the mindset is right inside of the rib cage. That's the lungs. So I want to watch the lungs with my mind deflate. Close the lips. So I'm actually watching the lung deflate and then I'm watching it inflate. And at the same time, I'm thinking negative, positive, pulling apart, and then feeling energy coming together. Boom. Now, there's another spot that's very important, the Danjin, lower ab. This is where my energy is housed, and when it's activated, this is where it will come from this area here. So, this, I'll give about 5 minutes to start and just this motion. And just every inhale, every exhale, there's a strong sense of relaxation. So, if you notice, I try to keep my arms just not rigid at all, very silky. And I'm thinking sometime, like I'm pulling a little worm out of a cocoon, or a little silkworm. Just pulling them apart, elbows are very free. And two, along with every exhale, I'm just trying to relax every major organ in the body. Just relax it down and just think. There's an area on the bottom of my foot where that energy will go out. So from here, as I relax from the shoulders down, boom, just out. Here. Now, if you note on my exhale, I'll use my esophagus to push to the front of my throat to control the exhale. I don't want to just all out at once. So I in. That's very relaxing itself. Just the awareness of a correct pattern of breathing. Very relaxing. Now, in my first yoga pose, I want to start with like a mountain pose. The mountain pose, when we know, is from here. But I take it a bit further. Now I'll come from here. Now there's two things that I'm really focusing on here. From the center of the chest, center, and push out through the fingers. And I can feel every muscle throughout my arm, from the center of the chest, throughout to my fingertips. And do it in the front, and I can feel the same thing across the back. So I'm pushing out, and at the same time, from the base of my back, I'm pushing up through the crown of the head. So I extend the spine up and out. So. And here I actually extend and kind of separate, in a sense, the spine from the shoulder blades, the arms, free the neck, all that stress is riding right on the top of my shoulders. As I inhale, exhale, just flow right on out through the fingertips. Now, we'll come back to that one, but I just want to express at this point, yoga, qigong, energy, all of these arts, really, I think it's a must to be mentally engaged. That's I think, the dynamics of these arts, to really engage the mind. Now, it might have made no sense at all to you when I say push out from the center of the chest, push out through the fingertips. But if you quieten the mind down to your body, you can actually feel all the muscles across your chest, and you can feel the muscles out through your arm. If you take the mind and go to the back, you can feel the muscles across the back, and you can just feel stress. Just leave the body. Now, I take this same pose, and I'll take it a step further. We just want to start to move these muscles now. So I go back to the same pose. And stand up, straight out. I use the shoulder as the center of the eye. And do a small rotation. 2 rotations, inhale, 2 rotations with the exhale. My mind is on my muscles across the chest throughout the fingertips and across the back throughout the fingertips. And coming out, I'm going to use my energy, chi, just to relax the muscles now. Yeah, work my way on down. Here. One little exercise you guys see me do. Very simple. But from here, we want to be from the hip joint. The back, notice the feet, straight ahead, head up, back straight. And I push back into the buttocks here. And I stretch with the exhale. Okay? Want to inhale first. Now, if you're just starting to stretch, I tell people all the time, don't have to go to the floor. This looks very simple, but I've been working out forever, so I'm able to really take my mind and do some control of my body. But if you haven't been working out, you just started, don't be intimidated by the stretch. Just put a chair in front. Here, and just push back in the hips. Start to breathe. Hold on to the chair or blocks from this point. What I call this is bring the floor up to you. The main thing here is trying to get a feel for separating the back and hip joint, legs. So you're pushing back into the hip. With the feet straight, you're stretching the back of the legs. Calf, hamstring, buttocks, lower back. Inhale forward, exhale back. As your body loosens up, you take the leverage down to the floor. Eventually you're on the floor. Okay, and we'll come back to that one. Coming up, your back is pretty stretched, so you want to be safe. Just pull your feet in, bend your knees, and use your legs to come up. Okay? Now, one of the most, my favorite, I guess, and I don't like to use words like favorite, but this, if I don't have but a little while, it's like the first thing in the morning. I like to do one stretch that's going to kind of allow me to stretch my whole body and to bring my mind to the body, activate my spirit and energy. So, I'll go into this stretch. Now notice the way I line this one up. My back foot is at a 45-degree angle. My right foot, straight forward. Here, I'm going to try to pull my body straight. Okay? I get a sense of the hip even, back straight. So, I want the hips to stay even. I want the back to stay straight. Now, in the beginning, your back is not that strong, so don't just take it down like that. Use your thigh to hold you and go slow. Breathe in, push back in the hip, and stretch on the exhale. When the exhale stop bending. Inhale again. And key is to keep your body even here. Okay? Once you get down to the floor, you know whether it's even, because you can tell with your hands. If you can't stretch that floor, bring the floor up to you. Push back in the hip. Now from here, this heel should be lined up into the palm of the back foot. Okay? And then you push back in the hip, keeping your back straight, keeping your hips even. Now, tremendous stretch for the calf, hamstring, buttocks, lower back. And once you get into this stretch, take your floor down. And then you start to come up the back, stretching the back. So you get down, boom, to the floor. And again, coming out of this stretch, you want to be very careful because you have stretched the back tremendously, so you want to bend the knee. Step up and use your legs. Come up. Okay? And we do the same thing on the other side. Now, when I first started, I used to go real low like this. It's not actually the best because then you can't keep your hips square. So I found out from here, I just had to work a little harder. Bring my feet closer together to make it to the floor. And use your hamstring or thigh to just guide you down. And one thing too I want to say, going down, boom, from time to time, pick this part up and place the stomach over the thigh. And then back into the hip. Okay, again, then you step up and use your legs to come up. And one thing I want to add here, in any yoga pose, you do not want to hold your breath. Holding your breath is just no good. You want your breathing to be a part of the stretch, a part of the movement. Okay? And once you get into a pose, and if you've gone as far as you can go, at that time, you want to take just a few seconds to release. It's called taking the mind, absorbing the pain, and just release the body. Quieten the mind down into the body at that point. And then slowly, be very careful, come out of the pose. The part of the body that you're actually stretching, you don't want, if you're stretching the lower back, you don't want to use the back to come up. Always bend to use the legs to come up. Okay? Now I'll go on into another pose. This you guys have seen me do quite a few times. Now the same concept, I'll do a mountain pose, or proud warrior pose here. Boom, where I bend the knees. But at any stretch I'm going to do the standing up, I'm going to try to have the spine erect. So from here, or lower back, I'm extending up through the crown of the head. If I'm using my arms out, I'm extending out from the chest all the way out through my fingers. Okay? This one allows me to really stretch into the groin area. This one is very good. And what I want to do here, I want to, at some point, now, I've been stretching for quite a while. I want to come up with a 90-degree angle from the lower leg to my thigh. I want the spine end up erect and the hands stretched out. So, go with me on this one. Boom. The setup. Back leg, 45-degree angle. Boom. Hips square. And this way. Straight ahead. Heel line up into the palm. And you notice I got a little more stretch this time. A little more distance between my feet. So, turn here. I just try to gauge and put my eyes over my two middle fingers. Boom. Then keep my chin somewhere right over my shoulder. And I start to descend down, like dropping the spine down. And that's going to give me a bend on the front leg. Still extending out through the arms. And once I'm as low as I want to go, I just take an inhale and then release the body. And slowly. And now coming up. One. Step out. Okay. Get ready to do the other side. Notice the back leg is locked. That's it. Okay. Now, I don't have a lot of time left in this section, but I do want to take you into a couple of my more serious poses. This one from here, just a triangle pose. And here I want to take my palm down and I want to pull my hip toward the front to be just like I was against the wall. Once I get into the pose, and look up into the palm of my hand, I want to push back into the hip, push out into the crown of the head to straighten the spine. Then I want to quieten the body and relax. Now, look down, and I ask my hand up top. Inhale, pull me up. And this really feels good. Okay, I have just one more that I want to do. I want to do this one for my students because in the Tang Soo class, I'm always trying to get my students to take a little challenge. There's a little challenge here where we go down, hands down, and the challenge is to have one hand behind the ankle, one hand reaching for the big toe. Now, elbow down and nose to the knee. Here's a little trick to it. Here, push back into the hip. Lift, place the stomach over the thigh, hand behind the ankle, reach for the big toe. Lots of breathing. Inhale, nose to the knee, and rotate forward. And you want to keep the legs locked. Nice legs. Now, I'd like to invite you guys to give me a call if I can ever assist anybody in the art of yoga or energy art, qigong. Over the years, I've addressed quite a few issues. Stress relief. We live in a very somewhat complex society. We made it that way. What I try to do is bring people back to the basic fundamentals of living, a peaceful way, a more realistic way, and in this case, more holistic way of living. Please give me a call if I can help. I'm at the First Tang Soo of Fremont. Okay? And to check out my website, www.fremonttangsudo.com. Okay? Thank you guys for joining me.